Hey guys, Gary the Current 23 and welcome to day 4 of my top of 2014. And in this video I'm going to be counting down my picks for the top 5 soundtracks / scores of the year. Now I'm a massive fan of movie soundtracks. It can really help elevate a film above what it would be normally. Last year soundtracks, I loved Place Beyond the Pines by Mike Patton, and I hope he does more movie soundtracks, or scores even. Because it's just really dark but kind of uplifting at the same time. And also Spring Breakers I really liked because it was very different. I'd never really kind of heard anything like that before. But yeah, this year has been a very good year for soundtracks and scores. And yeah, so in this video I'm going to be picking out my top 5. And at number 5 is going to be 12 Years a Slave. Now I know this was released last year in everywhere else, but in the UK it was released this year. Specifically the track Solomon. The rest of it is a little bit interchangeable in my mind really, but the track Solomon was just really emotional. You know, it's played at the beginning of the film, and also the bit with kind of the really famous, well, the kind of probably the most famous scene of the film. Kind of towards the end, it's used in that as well, and it's used in when. I don't know, it's just used in a way that is just really, really effective. It really brings out the emotion in the scene. Not to kind of down on the acting or anything, because the rest of it was extremely well done. But like I said, just really kind of elevated the scene above anything else really. It could have lost a bit of its power. But I love the way that the music kind of swells up. The rest of the soundtrack is good, but it's not kind of as memorable to me really. But yeah, the track Solomon is very, very good, and is well, that's my top 5 of the year. And number 4, so I'm going to refer to my notes. So number 4, we have a film, an actual soundtrack, which if you'd have told me that that this kind of music I would really, really like in this film, I wouldn't have believed you. And number 4, I'm going to go with Inside Llewyn Davis, which is a lot of folk music. It's entirely folk music based kind of soundtrack. I don't know if there's any score in the film, but all of it is kind of like folk music, and it's all sung and played by the cast themselves, which is really, really cool. It's not recorded or anything. Obviously they recorded it for kind of the soundtrack CD, but in the film it is them actually playing the songs themselves, like Justin Timberlake, Oscar Isaac, and just all the other kind of the musicians in the film are doing it kind of live. Which is really, really cool. I'm usually kind of, well, I don't stay away from folk music, but I'm not kind of a listener to that kind of music. But I really like the soundtrack in this. It's really kind of, when it's upbeat, but at the same time it's very kind of subdued. Like Hang Me was a really good song. I love that. I love the Please Mr. Kennedy song there. I love Adam Driver in that show. I just love that. But yeah, it's a really, really good soundtrack. I think it is all soundtrack, no score, which is really, really cool. And yeah, not much more to say really. I'm not usually, like I say, I'm not usually a fan of folk music, but I really, really like this one. And yeah, so at number 4 we have Inside Llewyn Davis. At number 3 we have one of the definitely the best blockbuster of the year, or at least the one that people like the most. Which is Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, it might have been higher, but like number 1 and 2 are really, really good. So yeah, number 3 I have Guardians of the Galaxy, which we all know the soundtrack by now. I even have it on cassette. I've also got it downloaded on my iPod as well. It starts with Hooked on a Feeling by Blue Suede, Uga Chagga and all that stuff, and it's got a load of good like 80s kind of 80s pop music. Just really kind of takes you back. Well, not for me, because I was born in '89, so I wouldn't really listen to it anyway. But yeah, it's just a really fun film, and the soundtrack kind of brings a lot of the fun out. Of course, the opening scene, which yeah is funny enough, people really, really like. 'Cause it's like kind of interacts with the music as well, which is really cool to see. Yeah, just really fun. It really kind of encapsulates what the film is. It's just fun. It's very actiony, I guess you could say. And the music kind of reflects that. I just really, really like it. yeah, isn't much more to say really. It's just really, like I said, really fun. A lot of 80s, kind of 70s, 80s electro pop and stuff like that. It's just really, really funny. Well, not funny. Actually, I've got the tape here somewhere. What have we got? We've got Hooked on a Feeling. Got Spirit in the Sky, Noel Greenbaum, very famous song. Kind of some Elvin Bishop. Just really Ain't a Mountain High Enough. Just really kind of just poppy 80s synth pop kind of stuff, which is really, really, it's just really fun, like I just said about 5 times. But yeah, soundtrack number 3, my third favourite soundtrack of the year is Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 2 is the soundtrack from Boyhood. I love this soundtrack, and it's not just a soundtrack for soundtrack's sake. It is a very important soundtrack because in the film there's no kind of like title cards or whatever saying 3 years later, a year later, whatever. It's all kind of signposted by the music that they play in the film, and it opens up with Yellow by Coldplay, and I can't remember the last song in the film, but you tell kind of what year kind of each like scene is set in by the music that they're playing in the scene. Obviously because it was filmed kind of 12 years. It kind of the music changes as kind of the scenes change, which is it's a very, very kind of natural way of doing it, which I really, really loved. So it's not just, like I say, it's not just a soundtrack. It's a timestamp of the whole film. Really, without the soundtrack, there'd be kind of like, well, it would be kind of it'd be much harder to kind of tell what year it was, kind of how far in the story it is. Obviously, kind of they get older, which you can tell, but in the beginning it's really hard to tell. But yeah, it's an important soundtrack. Like I say, it's not just there; it serves a purpose, which it doesn't. Films don't do that enough, I don't think. Obviously, like I said, with it being filmed kind of over 12 years, it is easier because like the places they go to, the places the film scenes in are going to be playing the music that is from that time. Obviously, they could play kind of like things from kind of the past and stuff. But kind of just because, like I say, because the film is filmed like that, it's just very natural. Of course, even when the music changes, kind of technology changes, but you see all the changes on the screen, which, like I said, I've never seen before, which I really, really, really loved. So yeah, number 2 is going to be Boyhood, and I'm going to just double check. And the number 1 for my favourite soundtrack of the year, it's actually a score, actually, is now, if you've seen the film, you'll probably know what it is already, and it is Under the Skin. Honestly, what can I say about this soundtrack? It's dark, it's eerie, it's ethereal at the same time. I've never heard a soundtrack like it in my life, by Mika Levi, who I believe is a singer in a kind of electronica group, I believe. But yeah, definitely the best soundtrack of the year. When I saw the film, I instantly went and downloaded it, and then I kind of bought the CD as well. It's just really, it's scary music, you know. It really brings out the scene, especially kind of like the weirder scenes, like the first scene and the Black Void kind of stuff. But kind of all throughout the film, it's just this really dark, scary, kind of heaven-like but hell-like at the same time. It's like screeching, but it just really, really works. You know, it really kind of fits the tone of the film and what the film is about, which is a lot of weirdness, to be fair. But yeah, absolutely the best score of the year, or soundtrack / score of the year. It's just, I don't know. It's just when you hear it, you know instantly what the film is. What else is there? But yeah, it's definitely the best one of the year, bar none. It's just there's nothing else like. I've never heard of a soundtrack like that before, and I probably never will. It's something else. That's all I can say really, but it is absolutely incredible. Obviously, the film is interchangeable in some people's minds, but I absolutely loved it. Definitely one of my favourite films of the year. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but they just didn't understand it or what have you. But I really, really did. Like I say, it's everything about it is more or less perfect. Like I say, the music is incredible. The acting is amazing. The visuals are just literally out of this world. Little pun there. But yeah, I really, really love the score for Under the Skin. which is, well, obviously why it's number one of my favourite of the year. So yeah, so I'll give a quick rundown of my favourite soundtracks / scores of the year. And number 5 we had 12 Years a Slave. Number 4, I can't remember, we had Inside Llewyn Davis. And number 3 we had Guardians of the Galaxy. And number 2 we had Boyhood. And number 1 we had Under the Skin. So yeah, those are my picks for my favourite, or 5 favourite soundtracks / scores of the year. Join me tomorrow where I'll be counting down my top 5 casts of the year. So thanks as always for watching. Until tomorrow, thanks for watching and have a great day.